don't we? So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Today we have Gordon Phillips. He's Gordon Xavier Consulting, a motivational speaker, life coach, and YouTube partner with 30,000 subscribers and $1.6 million, $1.6 million channel views. I told my son, if you want to get rich, figure out how to get on YouTube, because your grandkids, every time they pop on YouTube, they're putting money in somebody's pocket. So I don't know if he's going to talk about that, not today, but he has a passion to help and encourage others to embody their full potential. A native of St. Louis, Gordon has a compelling personal story of how he started his own business and what it took him to optimize the mind, body, and spirit connection. Evolve is his key word, and you can get your own Evolve t-shirt on his website to represent your own personal evolution. Let's turn it over to Gordon with a big hand of applause to speak on You Can't Spell Evolve Without Love. All right.
Thank you all so much for having me today. It's been a while since I've plugged into the group, so I'm feeling really grateful to be here. It's been so long that it kind of snuck up on me, and so I got the opportunity of connecting and getting to present spontaneously. So I'm really grateful for that. Today, as she said, I'm a motivational speaker. I make YouTube videos revolving around personal development. So on YouTube, you can find me speaking on various topics such as like positive thinking, meditation, dreaming, emotions, anything human, right? Anything human. And so what I do outside of YouTube is I'm a transformational life coach. And so what that means is, to be a transformational life coach, I help people transform, right? And transforming means to go beyond your current form, right? To go beyond our current form. So many of you right now, like you're somewhere in your business, you're a particular kind of professional, and maybe you want to create something new for your business. Maybe you want to create something new as a business owner. Well, that requires one to go beyond their current form, right? And so the only way to do that is to evolve. And so with that being said, just really quickly, I'd love to get a gauge of the room. Like, what are some areas in your lives that you'd like to see evolve? Like for me right now, I want to see my mind-body connection evolve. So currently, I'm on my 5th day of water fasting. Wow. Right? So it's if I get shaky or you see my words start speeding up, the heart beats really fast during fasting. So be with me.
And the cookies?
The cookies will get demolished the day I break my fast.
I feel better.
Yeah. Thank you. So what are some areas in your lives that you'd like to see evolve? It can be anything.
Well, sales for me, that's why I'm here.
Yep, sales. Okay. So you like to see your ability to be an influencer in sales go up. All right. Okay. Beautiful. What else? Anybody else?
I would add, because I just recently had a physical, and my doctor said, when you come back next year, how are you going to answer this question? What have you been doing to exercise? And because apparently I'm pretty low on that scale, so I need to ramp it up for health reasons.
Yeah. So health, you like to see health evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Beautiful. It's a big life component there.
There it is, yes.
Yep. Beautiful. Anyone else?
I'm going to deepen some of the spiritual growth even more so, because I realize that being intelligent or smart is only half of being wise. Wisdom is the answer.
I love that. You're going to get plenty of that from me today.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you said that. Yeah, so I love that. So we have sales, we have health, we have spirituality, we have learning. So yeah, these are all big deals in life, right? And so what I'm going to share with you today are 3 key components to evolving any area that resonates with you specifically in your life. Right? And I'll wrap it all back around to sales, but one thing I live by is everything affects everything. Right? So health, that affects your ability to sell. Right? Your spirituality, that affects your ability to sell. You know, your ability to sell. That affects your ability to sell, right? And what you learn. So everything affects everything. Everything's connected. So number one key component is kind of like what she said when we first introduced me. You can't spell evolve without love. Can't do it. Like, somebody asked me why. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, I don't know, beats me, right? It's embedded in the word, right? And in fact, it's taking up the majority of the word, right? So love is a big deal. Once again, to get a gauge of the room, I'd love to hear how would you define love, right? In order for us to like connect evolving to love, I like to hear like what are some of the characteristics that you experience when you feel love? Like what are some things that begin to go off and you notice in your world when you're feeling love?
Compassion.
Compassion. You feel compassion, like connection, caring for others.
Yeah,
And you care for them more than you do yourself.
Yeah. So it's almost like service, like you care for them more than you do yourself, so you want to serve them.
Kindred spirit.
Kindred spirit, so you feel like connection, like on a deeper soul level.
I think if you understand and accept someone, you'll stay together. If you don't ever accept what they are, you don't stay together.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to change them. So you have to figure it out.
Yeah. So like acceptance
Yeah.
and understanding.
Yeah.
Those are big like things that come with love. Like if you love someone, you understand them, you accept them, and you're able to connect on that deep level.
Also, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Feel charged and alive. Good.
Contentment.
Content. Beautiful. Content.
Reciprocity keeps the cycle going.
Yeah, it keeps like everything in synergy and flowing together. Yep.
It's like it's not forced. Because it can never be forced. There is a choice
Yeah.
to love, to be loved. It's not this, you let it.
It's easy. It's like it's flow. So these are all like anybody else? Anybody else have any? So these are all like incredible qualities, right? And so to support you in expanding your like relationship with love, I look at love personally as not just like a feeling, right? But a state of being. Like we're not human doings, right? You don't do love. We're not human havings, meaning that like we don't like get love and have it, right? We're human beings. So we be love, right? And love is a state of being that's activated, right? And so it's important to be conscious of how can I activate this state of being in myself. And all the qualities that you all described are different ways to activate it, right? By being compassionate, by connecting to other people, reciprocity, all of these different things, being easy, being content. These are all things that activate this state of love, state of being. And the thing about this state of being is all those qualities, well, you kind of need those to evolve too, right? Like all those things go with evolving, right? Like say if, you said accepting other people and understanding. Well, if I do the opposite of that, if I don't understand, if I choose to like judge and like cut that understanding and acceptance out of my life, it's going to be hard for me to unfold and to listen and to connect with people, right? So those qualities are 100% necessary for evolution. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So with that being said, there's the second part to evolving, right? So we have that state of being that's activated. The second part, the second key component, actually, backtrack. So I want to share with you 4 key things you can do to activate it, right? You can connect to all those qualities, but there's 4 practical things that you can do to consciously choose to step into that state of being, right? So the first one is prolonged eye contact.
Ruh-roh.
It's uncomfortable sometimes, right? Prolonged eye contact. It's like, why are we looking at each other? What? You see eyes dart all over the place,
Young
but
love, that's all they do.
yeah,
Look
Right.
into their eyes.
because the eyes are the window to the soul, right? And the thing about souls is they're beautiful, right? And if I give myself the opportunity to look at that, right, I'll be activated. I'll be activated. And in the beginning it's a little awkward, but after about 5 minutes, if you give yourself permission to go that long, you'll begin to see, holy crap, I'm looking at myself. Right? Like all of us have that same exact little black dot in the middle of our eyes. It's the same thing. We all have the same light emanating from our eyes. So after a while, we'll begin to connect, and connection is love. And I've heard once that love is the feeling of oneness. And oneness is essential for any kind of reality you want to merge into. You don't want to be like separate from the reality you want. You want to be one with the reality you want. So maybe I'm right here right now, and I want to see my life turn to that thing over there. Well, I want to merge with that thing and become one. So oneness is a big deal. We'll talk more about that. So number one is eye contact. Number two, prolonged hugs. Hugs are a big deal, you know, like and especially with people that you don't know that well, right? So I'd like to ask for a volunteer. Who would like to come up and participate in a hug with me? You raise your hand first. Come on up. Your hand went up first.
You raise your hand first.
Actually, we hugged earlier.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what a hug is not first. Okay? So. Hey, how's it going? Oh, so good to see you.
Good to see you too. Wait, let me look at you.
Yeah, where's the heart to heart at? Right? It's like, you ever get one of those like awkward side hugs, right? That's not a hug, right? So my little sister may give me from time to time, you know, just being in her early teenage years. Hey!
Get their head.
Right?
Yes.
Right? It's not a hug, right? It's like kind of a hug, but it's not connection, right? All right, now it's time for a hug.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a real hug.
That was a real hug. Yep. Thank you. So a real hug is heart to heart, right? And you take a moment, you take your time, right? And I even like take a breath in there, or like breathe into the hug, right? Like no need to resist it. We're both humans. We're both spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So let's breathe into that. So number two is hugs. Number three is give love. So give it from your heart, serve from your heart. So like give love, right? You cannot give what you don't have. Can't do it. It's impossible. So we can reverse engineer the deal. Let's give love, and by giving it, that means I have love. So I can't give what I don't have. So rather than focusing on trying to receive it all the time from other people, how about I focus on giving it, and I become a portal for that to come through. And I'm experiencing myself as love in action. So simple. Number three is give love. Number four, last one, is breathe consciously. Right? Like breathe consciously, breathe deeply. Breath is a big deal. Right? Like I'm fasting for 5 days, and yeah, I haven't ate for 5 days. I've had water. So you can go a while without food. You see I'm pretty lively and alert. Feel good. Haven't ate for 5 days. Been drinking water. You can go a while without water as well. I can only go a few minutes without air. That's like the central thing that's keeping all of us charged. So if I breathe consciously, and I infuse each breath with some gratitude, because I'm grateful for this. I don't want this breath to stop. You know, so I'm going to thank each breath by consciously breathing, being present with my breath. And what that does is it activates awareness, which activates love. All right? If all those things make sense and resonate, give me a thumbs up. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So now I'm going to move into the second part of the evolutionary process, which is building relationships. Right? Building and developing healing relationships. I've heard once that one of my mentors, Dr. David Wolf, is an incredible transformational life coach, hosts a lot of seminars, like really incredible individual. He said that one's life, the quality of one's life, is oftentimes reflective of the quality of our relationships. So the quality of one's life is oftentimes reflective of the quality of our relationships. And relationships can span from like friend, family, mother, father, daughter, sister, spouse, but also like what's your relationship like with your mind? Right? What's the conversation you're having with yourself, as Alan would say, right? Like what's that little voice in your head like? What's that conversation like? What's the relationship you have with yourself? What's the relationship you have with your body? Like, do you think negatively about it? Do you put good things in there? Like, what's the relationship like? We can think of a bunch of different relationships. Relationship with money. Like, we can think of a bunch of them. I'll let you think of ones that mean the most to you. All right? Your career. There's a bunch of different ones. Your relationship with yourself as a salesperson. These relationships are all tied back to our hearts. All right? My coach, he said, relationships, the spirit of each one of our relationships follows us in our day-to-day. Right? So like, for example, if I have a wonderful relationship with my father, right, we're best friends, love him, we're connected, we joke and we laugh, I'm going to walk around with that spirit in me, right? Because we're tied. You don't have to be in the presence of someone to be in the presence of someone. Right? Like you can think of someone that you love right now probably and feel like their energy. Right? And so there's a link. There's a link that's like invisible. And so it's important to like address relationships. And if my relationship with him is like angry and like I need his approval and all these different things, I'm going to walk around with that anger and approval in the back of my mind. And it's going to leak out into my communication, which is a big deal. It's going to leak out into my ability to be one with other people and myself and the world. So the quality of one's relationships oftentimes reflects the quality of one's life, right? Finally, it's going to be the one I spend probably the most time on and really dive deep into, is in order to hold space for love, in order to hold space inside for assertiveness, to be able to like express oneself fully in relationships, and to be able to do all those 4 things that I shared with you earlier, there needs to be space available inside, like a computer. If I'm going to download a new piece of software, I need to clear some space, right? So like for example,
Uh-oh.
man, I'd really love a cookie right now. I really love a cookie. Can you hand me that right there? It's not working. What's the problem right now?
No space.
No space.
Go for the cookie.
Let go of that caption.
Oh! Whoa, I'm holding on to something that I don't need right now. Maybe I should put this down. If I get that cookie now?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Oh! Wow, I've always wanted cookies. I've always wanted this. Right? So it's like, what are we holding on to that's not serving us, that's blocking us from experiencing and receiving love? What am I holding on to that's blocking me from receiving that and experiencing that? But I have an analogy for you. What kind of phones do you all have? You have smartphones, right? I'm sure you're in there. Okay. So have you ever had one of those days where you go to bed at night, you plug your phone up, and you wake up in the morning, and you get on your phone, and maybe you watch you go to Instagram, you watch some YouTube videos, you check your emails, you shoot a couple messages, you maybe make a couple calls, and then maybe when you're like, on downtime, you're playing a little Candy Crush, right? You just like to take a load off. And then it's only been a few hours in the day, and next thing you know, your phone battery's about to die. It's like, what the heck just happened? Like, I just unplugged it a couple hours ago. Why is my phone battery about to die already? Have you ever had that happen to you? It's happened to me several times. And so I'm like racking my brain trying to figure out why is this battery so low? And then I realized, I have a bunch of apps open right now. I gotta close out these apps. and I have Facebook running in the background. I have Candy Crush running in the background. I have my emails open and all this other stuff running in the background, draining the battery and taking up processing speed. Right? And so it's important to close these apps out. Well, human beings, we're the same way. Life happens. We have so many different seasons. Some of us still have apps open from when we were 7. My mother passed away when I was 7. And this was a huge app that was open for me that I thought I was over. And in the background, it was taking up so much processing speed, keeping me from being present in the moment and keeping me from being able to receive and experience love. Right? And so ask yourself, what apps are open right now? What apps do you have open that are draining your battery life? And sometimes it's hard to discover those apps alone, right? If I'm sitting here, like say if I wasn't fasting and I had a meal, and maybe I had some spinach on my plate and I'm eating some good spinach, and I smile at you, and there's a piece of spinach in my teeth, but I have no idea. And I'm just smiling and laughing and talking. I'm just smiling, just connecting with everybody. Hey guys, what's up?
Done that.
Hey.
Don't expect a hug.
Don't expect a hug. Eye contact is not going to happen the same. It's going to be eye to teeth probably, you know? And so this is something I can't see from my angle. And so maybe there's apps open inside of me, but I can't see from my angle. So maybe it takes, what is required is feedback. To get like feedback from eyes that actually see, and feedback that's not biased, and maybe even like trained. We have some life coaches in the room, right? So, you know, that type of feedback for me has been game changing. Right? And to wrap this little component up, one way to get started in the app closing process, there's this quote that I coined while going through my journey and my like some shadow work and doing my healing, my evolving in life. Whatever I conceal takes the wheel. So whatever I conceal and push down deep inside, and I don't look at, don't talk about, it takes the wheel. It turns into a little hand that grabs the wheel. And to my mind, to my body, to my behaviors, and whatever I reveal, I heal. Right? So maybe you don't know what's happening way deep beneath the surface, but you know what's happening on the surface. So reveal it. Right? And you can put the light on that shadow and convert that shadow into light. And now you can see. You turn the lights on, oh, I can see. So this is one way to begin to see what apps have been like suppressed and like pushed down deep beneath. Like sometimes, like one time I check my phone and I'm like, man, I haven't played this game in like 3 weeks. Have I really let this like stay here this long? And so that's a very like important thing to consider. Like, what apps are open? Once this space is cleared now, once again, now I have more processing speed. There's more space available inside of me to hold for love, to be compassionate. If all my space is taken up by fear-based things, it's going to be hard to be compassionate. Probably going to be more likely to judge and to like resist life. And so, yeah, once that space is cleared, now I can hold space for love. Now I can process things happening in the moment. I can walk into relationships and be more assertive and speak my heart. Right? And those relationships can then heal and transform, and I'll have a healthier spirit follow me around when I'm living my life on a day-to-day basis, and the quality of my life goes up, and I begin my evolutionary process on a higher level. Does that make sense? And from there, now all those 4 little things I share with you with the eye contact, I can't help but look in people's eyes now. It's like, it's weird not to, right? It's weird not to hug people. Right? It's weird not to give love. It's weird not to like enjoy breathing, right? And these things like maintain that state of being that brings all those qualities into your life, all those characteristics into your behaviors, into communication, into your thinking process, that leads to evolution, that leads to evolving, that leads to being able to show up in the world fully and happily and authentically. And that's a big deal, right? So to bring it all back around, we went on a journey. You can't spell evolve without love. Right? So love what you do. Love who you are. Love the people in your life. Love humanity. Right? And you'll be taking part in your evolutionary process as well as the evolutionary process of everybody else around you.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Woo!